In this video, we'll be talking about how we can decide what we want to do for a living, what kind of career will fit me, which path should I go on, and I'll be also talking about the way that I have found out what I really like to do. So this is going to be a very exciting video. But first, I want to clarify that yes, I'm still young, I still don't have that much of an experience, and I might be wrong about a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about, but I'm just sharing the way that I see this, the way I go about deciding what I want to do for the rest of my life. So hopefully I'll be able to help you with this video, even if just a little bit. And hopefully you'll be able to learn something new and something valuable from this video. First, one of the things that I consider when deciding what I want to do for a living is asking myself, what is my flow state task? Meaning, when do I get into this flow state? And if you don't know, this flow state is when you're completely absorbed in the task that you're doing. It's like you're totally focused on it and you lose your sense of time. It's like time is just passing by just like that. And you're completely here in the present moment. And it's also like you lose your sense of self. It's almost like you forget about yourself. You forget that you even exist. And there is only this moment. There is only this thing that you got to do. This thing right in front of you. And you're completely absorbed in it. I mean, you probably have experienced this sense of flow when you did something. You probably had a similar experience to this. And a great thing to consider when deciding what you want to do for a living is, what is this flow state task? Really consider this. When throughout the day, even for 5 minutes, when do you get into this flow state? I mean, for example, it might be when you're drawing, or when you're doing some kind of computer program, writing some computer program, when you're, I don't know, doing archery, when you're singing, whatever it might be for you. When do you get into this flow state when you're completely absorbed in that task? And the idea behind this is that once you have found what your flow state task is, to think about how you can turn this into a living. Because if you're doing what you really love to do and what gets you into this flow state, you're doing that for a living, then every day you'll be fulfilled. Like, you'll be glad that you're doing that thing, and you won't go into this work with this attitude that, I got to do this again. But you'll actually like to do that. You actually want to do that. Every day you're getting into that flow state, which is one of the best states that you can be in. Now, for example, let me tell you my story about how I have found out what my flow state task is. As far as my current knowledge goes, and that might even change tomorrow, but as far as I know, my flow state task, when I really get into this flow state, is when I'm explaining, when I'm talking to other people, when I'm talking. And the way that I have found out, well, first, I think the very first time when I started considering that my flow state task is explaining is when I was explaining something to my girlfriend about a book, and when I was explaining things to my friends, and I really got myself into it. I really was really absorbed in explaining, and I really liked it. And then recently, actually, I had in the university, we had one of these classes. It's called pedagogy. It's basically it's this training for teachers. We learn about kids teaching. I'm not sure. That's not the point what we learn about there. But we had to do some kind of presentations, and we could choose between different teams. And the team that I chose was called Learning Strategies. And I made a presentation about the way I do these YouTube videos and the way that you can apply that to studying. And the way, if you're interested, the way I do it is waking up early in the morning, doing the hardest thing first, and being fasted. I mean, you'll be surprised how productive you can be if you do those. And at first, I was actually pretty anxious because there were quite a lot of people and my heart was beating. But when I got out there, after the first minute, I got completely absorbed in the presentation, in explaining the way that I do these videos, explaining these strategies. Like, I was completely absorbed in that presentation. Time completely disappeared. It was so interesting. Like, it literally was like I forgot about myself. Like, I was not there and I was just talking. But it was like I didn't think about what I should say next. Like I was just talking. And the interesting thing was that I couldn't remember what I said before. Like words were just coming out of my mouth and I was just talking. I really got myself into that. And it was so interesting. I was so absorbed in it and I actually really enjoyed it. And it was like I had absolutely no thoughts. So as far as I know, my flow state task is explaining, it's teaching, it's presenting, it's talking, something along the lines of that. And that is why I'm preparing to become a teacher. You know, I'm at university learning about IT to become an IT teacher. Also because I also like IT, but I really like explaining and you know being a teacher I could also teach the kids about the things that they don't learn about in school. The things that I'm talking about to you on this YouTube channel. The things that I'm talking about here, you know, relationships, diet, health, you know, finding your flow state test. All this important stuff about relationships, about friends, about what you should do with your life, how should you spend your time and all of this stuff. They don't teach you about this. But you know, they teach you about integrals and Pythagorean theorem. That's so important. But let's not get into this right now. That's not a reason why I want to get into teaching, to change it, to somehow change that system, to help those kids out, to teach them something that they will actually use in their life. And this is why I also do YouTube, you know, explaining things, explaining that I'm learning about, helping other people with these videos that I'm making. So what I really recommend you is think about what your flow state task is. When do you get into this flow state? And it's okay if you don't instantly get it. It also took me quite some time to figure out what my flow state task is. So be patient with yourself. Just be patient and take some time, you know, and also experiment with things. Try out different things and see how do you like it. Try out things that you haven't tried out before. And another great question that you can ask yourself when thinking about this is what would you do if you had unlimited money? If you didn't have to worry about money, what would you do? What would you spend your time with? What would you do if money were no object? These are very good questions because a lot of the times money can get in the way and you know blind us. And when you got what your flow state task is, what you really like and want to do, then think of ways that you can monetize it. Think of ways that you can turn this into a career. Think of ways that you can turn this into a business or whatever. And at first, you see, you might not have this very clear, direct path in front of you. You might just get this vague idea about what you want to do. I mean, it was like this also for me. You know, I liked explaining. Okay, how can I turn that into a living? I mean, there's so many ways, you know, I can become like a presentator or whatever, you know, hiring people for companies. There's just so many ways. And then I decided to go on the path of teaching. So you probably won't get this direct path in front of you, but this vague idea of this vague direction of where you want to go. And yet again, you got to be patient. And now, of course, comes the question, what if my flow state task, what if what I really want to do doesn't get me that much money? What if it doesn't pay well? And to be honest, I'm not sure what to do here. My philosophy is that I would rather do something that brings me less money but makes me more fulfilled. That's my philosophy. And you see, the university that I'm in, IT, I could also go, you know, become a programmer, become a software engineer. And that pays much better than being a teacher. It pays much better. But you see, I know that I wouldn't be fulfilled. I know that I don't want to become a programmer. I don't want to just sit there and program for 8 hours a day. No. I would much rather be a teacher. And if I were to chase after the money, would it really be worth it, you know? Sitting there for 6 or 8 hours, doing something that I don't really want to do just for more money. Will it really be worth it? The way I see it is that I won't be fulfilled. And you see, the money that I make, that extra money, won't really make me that much more happier. It's not worth that extra money for every like 5 days every week, 6 or 8 hours of doing something that I don't really like to do, that I don't really like to do. You know, and you can get by, you see, and you know, it's not that bad, you know, I don't really like it, but it's not that bad, it pays well. But you won't really be fulfilled. It won't bring you that much fulfillment. And you'll be waiting, oh, I can't wait until I can go home. I don't want that. I want that when I go to work, I actually want to go there. I actually want that, and I'm fulfilled, but I'm fulfilled if I do it. And when I'm doing it, I get into this flow state and I love it. That's what I want to do. This is why I think that it's better to just do the thing that you really love to do and forget about the money. Because if you really become good at something, if you master a certain skill, then I'm sure that you can find a way to make some kind of money out of it. Because there are also a lot of people that are interested in the same thing that you are and are willing to pay for you to do something, or I don't know. But I'm sure that if you master some kind of skill, that you can monetize it in some way. Because it's much easier right now with the help of social media, with the help of the internet. It's much easier right now to start a business, you know, start gaining money even online. So I think that if you just do the thing that you really like to do, that gets you into the flow state, and you master that, you really get yourself into that, then I don't see a way that you won't be able to make a living. Even if you don't make that much money, you don't make like $10,000 a month, who cares? Who cares? You're doing the thing that you really want to do. And that's what really matters. Of course, you still want to get by. You don't want to be starving and things like that. But I'm sure that you will be able to make a good living. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention when you're thinking about what you should do for a living is that really watch out for who influences you. And don't really look for it on the outside. Because nowadays, our attention is so focused on the outside world. It's so externalized. Like every single day, we're watching something, we're listening to someone, we're watching YouTube, and we don't really spend much time with ourselves. And when we're asking these questions, you know, what should I do for a living? We're looking for the answers outside ourselves. We're watching YouTube videos. We're watching YouTube videos like this, you know, trying to find an answer and finding someone who will tell you this is what you got to do, this is your purpose. But that's not how it works. Because you're an individual, you're unique. No one has the life that you have. And you got to decide for yourself what you got to do. Because you know yourself the best. And it's so easy to get influenced by other people and go into the job that you don't actually enjoy, but you know, your parents told you that this is right for you. You saw it on the internet, oh, this great business model, but you don't actually like it. So what I really recommend for you is to spend some time alone. Spend some time, you know, doing some introspection, really asking yourself these questions. And the answer for this question, it's not outside you. It's not outside you because you know the best what you really want to do. And of course you can listen to other people. It's not like you have to like block out everyone. Of course you can listen to others, you know, get help, hear them out. The point is just don't blindly follow other people's advice. Think for yourself. Don't just blindly follow what kind of don't just blindly follow what some influencer is telling you online. So hopefully this video was able to help you with something. And I'm actually very interested if you have any thoughts, if you want to add something to this. If you think that I'm wrong, please tell me in the comments. And also if you're interested, I'm doing free one-on-one calls. You can send me an email, we'll arrange a video call, and you can ask me anything that you want. So email in the description if you're interested. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video. All the love towards you. Have a great day and goodbye.